Hello. We hope you are doing good. Welcome to our All About ELT YouTube channel. Let's get to today's topic.
Introduction to English Language Teaching. What is ELT? As an academic discipline, ELT is primarily concerned with the teaching and learning of English. The majority of research work and publications in applied linguistics have been directly concerned with language teaching and learning. English language teaching is common in those countries where English is not the first language, EFL, ESL, and EIL. It is also taught in English-speaking countries, because many people from non-English-speaking countries move there. Language teaching and learning is often assumed to be a very difficult process. The difficulties of learners also depend upon how much their native language is different from English. Learners of English language usually commit errors of grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Introduction to different methods and approaches of ELT language teaching and learning is often assumed to be a very difficult process. The difficulties of learners also depend upon how much their native language is different from English. There are three principles of teaching English which help the teachers and the students alike. 1. Selection and gradation, which material, syllabus, and in what order. 2. Theoretical and pedagogical concerns, language teaching has to be based on some theory. 3. Presentation and practice, how and how often. The history of language teaching is generally considered to be the history of its methods and approaches. Distinction between approach, method, and technique is 1. The level at which assumptions and beliefs about language and language learning are specified is called approach. 2. The level at which theory is put into practice, and the decisions about skills and content to be taught, and the order in which these will be taught are made is called method. 3. Technique is the level at which classroom procedures are described, Richards-Rogers, 2014. In this regard, Kumaravadivelu, 2006, classifies the methods of teaching a second language into three groups. 1. Language-centered. It is organized around linguistic forms, usually grammatical structure, whose major focus is on accuracy. For example, audiolingual and GTM. 2. Learner-centered focuses on the learner's linguistic and communicative needs. They are used only for specific elements of language learning, for example, CLT. 3. Learning-centered methods define the content to be taught in non-linguistic terms, example, task and topics, TBL. Important methods. In grammar translation, method learning is ensured largely by translation to or from the target language. The structural approach envisages that language is a complex structure of grammatical rules, which are to be learnt one by one in a set order. The direct method focuses on teaching delivered completely in the target language. The idea behind audiolingual method is that the learning of a language is similar to attaining habits in life. Total physical response method focuses on the importance of oral comprehension, the learner's reply to simple instructions. Communicative language teaching aims to assist learners to communicate effectively in different real-life situations. Task-based language learning, a form of CLT, focuses on the completion of a learning task by using the target language. The natural approach aims at finding the similarities between learning the first and second languages. Usually, there is no correction of mistakes here. Nature and functions of language. What is language? Human beings can communicate with each other. We are able to exchange knowledge, beliefs, opinions, wishes, threats, commands, appreciation, promises, declarations, and feelings. I will consider language to be a set, finite or infinite, of sentences, each finite in length, and constructed out of a finite set of elements. Chomsky, 1957, our system of communication, before anything else is a language. Language is a system that associates sounds, or gestures, with meanings in a way that uses words and sentences. Language is a purely human and non-instinctive method of communicating ideas, emotions, and desires by means of voluntarily produced symbols. Sapir, 1921. Functions of language. Not everyone who studies a second language is interested in communication with native speakers. But for most of us, it is all about the interaction, and therefore, it is important to consider the functions of language that we will need in conversation. There are 6 essential functions of language by the structural linguist Roman Jakobson. The referential function. The referential function is all about describing. Can you describe what you see, what is happening around you, and how you feel about it? The emotive function. The emotive function is about expressing something. We do not only state facts, but also add a little emotion to our conversation. The conative function. The conative function is concerned with command. We all like to order people around, but do we feel confident enough in the target language to try out the imperative? Go on, open it. Don't touch, it's dangerous. The poetic function. It is about choice of words wisely. How careful you are when you speak. Do you attempt to be eloquent? It helps us develop an appreciation for the literary and spoken word tradition of the target culture, and is essential in higher levels of communication. Features of human language. Communication may be the primary function, but it is not a distinguishing feature of human language. 1. Reflexivity. Other creatures do not reflect on the way they create their communicative messages, or review how they work. Humans are clearly able to reflect on language and its uses. E.g. I wish he wouldn't use so many technical terms. 2. Displacement. Animal communication cannot effectively be used to relate events that are far removed in time and place. Humans can refer to past and future time. This property is called displacement. It allows language users to talk about things and events not present in the immediate environment. 3. Arbitrariness. There is no natural connection between a linguistic form and its meaning, or the object it describes in the world. The connection is quite arbitrary. Some words with sounds seem to echo the sounds of objects or activities, and hence have a less arbitrary connection. 4. Productivity. Humans continually create new expressions and novel utterances by manipulating their linguistic resources to describe new objects and situations. This property is called productivity. The potential number of utterances in any human language is infinite. The communication systems of other creatures are very limited, as it does not seem possible for them to produce new signals to communicate novel experiences or events. 5. Cultural transmission. The process whereby a language is passed on from one generation to the next is called cultural transmission. We acquire language in a culture with other speakers and not from parental genes. 6. Duality. Human language is organized at 2 levels or layers simultaneously. At one level, we have distinct sounds, n, b and I. At another level, we have different combinations of these sounds and their distinct meanings, bin, nib. Linguistic diversity has been defined as the range of variations exhibited by human languages. Linguistic diversity in the world today is an issue of growing social importance, because a majority of all living languages are threatened in their continued existence. The exact number of known living languages varies from 6,000 to 7,000, depending on the definition of a language, and in particular, on how one defines the distinction between languages and dialects. Ethnologue describes a living language as the language that has at least one speaker for whom it is their first language. English and linguistic diversity. Spread of English as a language of wider communication in science, technology, business, popular culture, and globalization has both positive and negative implications for linguistic diversity in the world. Nowadays, multilingualism usually implies English and other languages in various countries. English has also been considered a threat for linguistic diversity, Philipson, 1992. Reasons to maintain linguistic diversity. 1. Languages express identity. 2. Languages are repositories of history. 3. Language contributes to the sum of human knowledge. 4. Languages are interesting in themselves. 5. Ecological diversity.